guide us with your grace. Give us faith so we'll be safe. Sento che ci salverà.
شكرا على حضوركم حفل افتتاح إكسبو 2020 دبي، والذي سيستمر حتى 31 من مارس 2022. نأمل أن نراكم قريبا. Thank you for watching the opening ceremony of Expo 2020 Dubai, now open through March 31st, 2022. We hope to see you soon.
Chers invités, nous vous remercions d'avoir regardé la cérémonie d'ouverture de l'Expo 2020 Dubaï. L'Expo 2020 Dubaï sera ouvert jusqu'à mars 2022. Nous espérons vous revoir très bientôt.
Today, more than ever, when the world comes together to create a better tomorrow.
It's going to be
magic.
Oh,
La magie.
Magic. Magic with learning.
Magic with music.
Magic with technology.
With collaboration.
With architecture.
With business opportunities.
magic with flavor.
Magic with celebration.
With your safety.
From here.
There.
And everywhere.
For 6 whole months, day and night.
Join the making of a new world starting October 1st.
From farmers' fields to city streets, oceans and seas to starry skies, our world is changing. And so are we. We are researching, discovering, and innovating. We are learning, collaborating, and empowering. And we are doing it for the future of the planet, the future of the people, and the future of what's possible. We are inspiring a world of change.
First ever Global Business Forum ASEAN will explore exciting business prospects emerging across the region. The high-level forum, taking place at Expo2020 Dubai, provides an ideal platform for businesses to network, boost their global profile, and discuss key trends reshaping the economic bloc's future. As a strategic trade hub at the intersection of Asia, Europe, and Africa, Dubai is an ideal market that African companies can leverage to boost their global footprint. By working with their UAE counterparts, African countries can help mitigate the pandemic's negative impact and push ahead with strategic development plans.
What makes a better world? A better world is a world where all human beings can thrive. A more tolerant, caring, harmonious world. A world where every action counts. Where women and girls can share their vision and achieve their dreams. A world where they can thrive. Because when women thrive, humanity thrives. The Women's Pavilion by Expo 2020 in collaboration with Cartier. What makes a better world? A better world is a world where all human beings can thrive. A more tolerant, caring, harmonious world. A world where every action counts. Where women and girls can share their vision and achieve their dreams. A world where they can thrive. Because when women thrive, humanity thrives. The Women's Pavilion by Expo2020 in collaboration with Cartier.
We have this Expo Live program, which is a promise that His Highness made during the bid phase, that we need to make sure we bring it to fruition, but in a way that it makes the impact, that it elevates the Expo. 33 presentations, 12 panel members, a lot of planning, listening to people tell us how excited they are of being here, listening to people tell us how they've been inspired by Expo and what we stand and the Expo Live program. I'm grateful for the applicants that flew in from Grenada, from Nigeria, from Brazil, from Chile, from Nepal. This was their first time in the region. And we had to welcome them to Dubai.
In the whole world, 1,300 million tons of food are wasted every year. This is a big problem in the world. My name is Miguel Malnati. I am from Peru, and my startup name is Bio-Natural Cover. The product is a natural barrier to the post-harvest fruits that mainly protect it to the environment issues. So then the product extends the shelf life in a natural way. So the most important of Bio-Natural Cover is that it's based on the natural byproducts. For example, we use peels and seeds to the same fruit to extract the biocompounds and use it to protect the same fruit. The history about that is when I was in the university, I saw how the strawberries have a very quickly spoiled process. So I detect this problem and then I investigate more, and with all the knowledge in food science that I have, I try to solve it in a special way with a natural product like Bio-Natural Cover. Now we have a pilot plant in Peru, in Lima. So our scale-up plan is to go to other countries like Colombia, that is very near to Peru, to have more byproducts of tropical fruits that we use. And with these two plants in Peru and Colombia, we can go to all the world to this solution. Because now we are working with exporters of fruits that have very good results, and we're trying to go to a worldwide scale. A lot of my life I try to use the wasted to have another function of that. So I think that is part of my mission as a person, to try to use the wasted and to create a better impact.
My name is Diana Sierra. I am Colombian, a Colombian industrial designer. The name of my company is B-Girl. It's based in the US, but I work in Mozambique. Access to sanitary protection is a problem that is not only happening in Africa or in Asia. It's actually in Latin America, in the United States, everywhere. The issue is that nobody talks about it. Menstruation is something natural. In a lot of places, not only in Africa where I work right now, it's something considered really taboo, that you're dirty, that you cannot touch the animals because the animals will die, that you cannot touch the crops because the plants will die. B-Girl is a social venture where we basically use design to create beautiful products for women and girls to be able to understand, own and love their bodies. We focus on creating sustainable menstrual products that allow girls to go places. So innovation comes from anywhere. It can also come from something as simple as period protection. So B-Girl, basically we have different products. We have cups, we have pads, but the really important product that we have is this period panty. This panty actually comes with a pocket here. And this pocket is revolutionary. Why? Because it allows you to put absolutely anything that is absorbent in a way that is ergonomic, that is comfortable. So imagine a girl in the Solomon Islands. She could easily just use sea sponge to put in the pocket. So she's using what she has handy in a way that she will never be able to do before. So the panty comes with a towel, and basically it's really easy to use. You just put in the absorbent like this way. Super simple. And you can do this with toilet paper. You can do it with cotton from the garden. You can do it with like reusable pieces of cloth. So literally this is allowing every girl to have control over her body and her periods on her terms. Our goal is to make sure that our products in the long term are as competitive as disposable, because we actually have a good value proposition. They're sustainable products, they're responsible, they're good for the environment, and they're really comfortable and nice to wear. I was collecting all the feedback, and one feedback stuck with me. It was from a girl, her name is Alfonsina. Her feedback said, "What I like the most about the pads is that somebody somewhere loved me because she made these pads for me, and I feel proud to be girl."
That's a good idea?
Yes!
African businesses spend millions of dollars each year hiring data scientists abroad. This is a result of the gap between industry and academia, which means that there is a lack of skilled human capital capable of transforming data into actionable insights. We founded Blossom Academy in 2017 to train and pair data science talent with companies across Africa, immediately welcoming over 950 candidates. To attract the students, we work very closely with universities to assess who are their top candidates, and then we train them over those 6-month period. The goal here, right, is to really help more African youth, attain that economic equality that they may not be able to attain by not securing employment after school. They are in a position to now hire our students at a premium, and this helps us increase the youth employment in Ghana. In the future, every job would have a digital component. We are committed to expanding our training programs to Nigeria and Senegal in the next 3 years. With this in mind, it creates a very vast market opportunity, which positions us to, one, create enough data scientists capable of serving emerging markets. Number two is create economic equality for all African youth. And number three is push Africa forward by helping African youth create data-driven solutions.
How can we build startups? How can we build technology companies? How can we empower people from all over the world, really, to actually build something for themselves? My name is Thea Myhrvold, and I'm the proud founder of TeachMeNow.com. We are one of the first global marketplaces connecting teachers and students truly all over the world. And our software is now also used as a service to support really interesting initiatives here in the Middle East, in Latin America. Where it all began was in Geneva in Switzerland. My goal was to change the world and to work at the UN. But while I was there, I started teaching myself. So my first two students, one had ADD and one had dyslexia, and they were both predicted to fail their exams, to the point where the teacher said, don't even come to class, you're going to fail anyway, which wasn't the best message to give to these two students. But actually they got way above average scores. So the next year I got more requests for teaching and more requests for teaching. And eventually I had students all over the world contacting me. But I had Skype, I had email, I had PayPal, I had all these things to coordinate my online classes. But I couldn't find a platform like TeachMeNow that had everything that I needed in one space. So what's really interesting in this specific project is it's not just about basic education, but it's about education that you can create a job with and create economic opportunity for. And that's what's really fascinating, is you're learning very practical skills that you can also create your own jobs or create an app or create a startup even around. So it's sort of an exponential benefit in that regard as well. So we've trained over 500 people of determination through a virtual platform, through TeachMeNow, connecting experts, career coaches to people of determination all over Latin America. We also proudly support 1 million Arab coders with His Highness Sheikh Mohammed here in the Middle East, reaching students learning how to code, again, all over the MENA region. I think it goes back to the theme of Expo, which is connecting minds, creating the future, and I think that so beautifully sums it up. Through the use of technology, you can connect people to the right expertise and the right mentor, the right teacher, when they need it the most. And technology is changing absolutely every industry, right? Be it through transport, hotel, food, technology is touching everything today. So really, the jobs of the future are in tech. So if you can teach people those skills, then they have a better chance for the future as well.
I'm Conrad Tanku. I'm from Cameroon. I'm the founder of GeekSpace Limited. I'm here because of our flagship product called GeekMed, which is an innovation to reduce the high death rates due to breast and cervical cancers in underserved communities in Cameroon. So one of the women who accepted me, who was my landlady in the community, came in to consult, and I discovered she had advanced cervical cancer. She died a few months later, and certainly it was diagnosed at an advanced stage because she had no access to the screening and diagnosis services before. So that was like the aha moment where the idea came in to put in place a solution where women living in this kind of settings can actually have access to this type of services. The objective of GeekMed is to provide access to breast and cervical cancer screening and diagnosis in rural communities for target women. Finding the problem was quite easy, but putting in place a solution was very complicated. The innovation is made up of some hardware tools, which is smartphone digital microscopy system, and coupled with a software tool, which is a telemedicine platform. The first solution we tried to put in place was something which was very simple, and it consisted of bringing medical doctors and specialists to rural communities to actually screen women, but it was not a sustainable model at all. That's why we discovered that it was necessary to bring in technology to try to fill up this gap. So, but the second challenge now was finding the right expertise, especially engineers, right, to develop the technology we wanted, because we were trying to aim at something which can very much work in rural communities and is adapted to rural communities. Innovation has a very huge potential because now in the developing countries, we're talking about universal health coverage. This is one of the tools where if it can easily be integrated into the health system, it can potentially impact every single woman in every community because it's cheap, it's affordable, and it can work in any community.
Today, more than ever, when the world comes together to create a better tomorrow.
It's going to be
magic.
Oh,
La magie.
Magic. Magic is learning.
Magic with music.
Magic with technology.
With collaboration.
With architecture.
With business opportunities.
Magic with flavor.
Magic with celebration.
With your safety.
From here.
There.
And everywhere.
For 6 whole months, day and night.
Join the making of a new world starting October 1st. Today, more than ever, when the world comes together to create a better tomorrow.
It's going to be
magic.
Oh,
La magie.
Magic. Magic is learning.
Magic with music.
Magic with technology.
With collaboration.
With architecture.
With business opportunities.
Magic with flavor.
Magic with celebration.
With your safety.
From here.
There.
And everywhere.
For 6 whole months, day and night.
Join the making of a new world starting October 1st.
Welcome to day 2 of the world's giant showcase of innovation, human creativity, culture, and of course, progress.
And the largest global gathering since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic.
This is Studio Expo.
And we are live from the Expo 2020 site.
Hi there and welcome. It's absolutely great to have you with us yet again. Now, unless you've been living under a rock for the last, 24 hours or maybe the last 8 years, yesterday the team here at Expo 2020 showed that if you put your mind to it, nothing is impossible. Anything is possible, especially at this rather spectacular event, Ash.
Yes, Tom, despite the challenges of the last couple of years, the world's biggest ever edition of the World Expo and the first in the region got underway in stunning fashion.
Indeed it did. And in fact, if you missed it, let's take a look.
A golden gathering like no other, and one that on the 50th anniversary of the UAE turns the big 5-0 this year. I hope it doesn't have mixed feelings about that. But it really helps us look to the future with renewed hope. Very exciting times, I would say.
Exactly that. I mean, just looking at that little VT that we watched there, I mean, that was just day one.
Yeah.
That was day one. You've got 6 months of this. It's extraordinary. So much going on, so much to enjoy as well. And as you'd expect, we've got a rather packed show for you today as well. Coming up, we're going to be finding out how marine turtles injured by unsustainable fishing and plastic waste are being nursed back to full health.
We'll also discover how the resilience of the gaff tree could play an important part in increasing environmental sustainability.
And we'll also take a look at Expo's on-site plant nursery. Yep, they have one, which is transforming the desert landscape by growing over 340 species of shrubs and trees without pesticides. And Ash and I have been swatting up on our indigenous plants overnight.
Yes, I've been reading up on it a lot. It'll be interesting to see because we might have experts coming on the show later in the coming episodes to tell us more about it. And there's no doubt that Expo 2020 will provide a huge amount of fun and entertainment for the whole family over the next 6 months.
However, it's always good to remind ourselves why this wonderful event behind us is taking place in the first place. And that's to solve some of the world's biggest concerns and problems. And some would argue that none are more difficult than following the path towards sustainable living and climate action.
That's right, Tom. So let's have a look at this.
Expo is bringing the world to the world, and Expo is also connecting the greatest minds to discuss relevant, if not pressing, subjects that affect our future. Things like climate change. Expo is encouraging everyone to offer real, viable solutions to massive climate change problems that we are facing. And they are also creating a stage to surprise us, if not jolt us, with some innovative breakthroughs that might encourage us to come up with new ways to live our lives. We took some time out of Expo to visit the Ministry of Climate Change and Environment in Dubai to hear what they had to say about this hot issue, to see how they are addressing the challenges of climate change that face their nation and the world.
The major environmental challenges in today's modern and evolving world are immense. Carbon footprints, limited water resources, overfishing, waste generation, air pollution, land degradation and desertification are continuously posing an environmental threat to the world. To combat these challenges, we are committed to becoming thought leaders on environmental conservation in the UAE and beyond.
But raising awareness about climate change is very important, and the Ministry of Climate Change and Environment has been running some serious campaigns to get their nation thinking, talking and acting to conserve the planet.
We're here in the Ministry of Climate Change and Environment try to fight the climate change impact and to raise awareness about how important our resources and how important to keep sustainable for next generations. It's a social media campaign we launched in aim of leveraging social media to raise awareness about the urgency of climate action. The Effective campaign was launched in the aim of raising awareness about the urgency of climate action and to raise awareness also about the repercussion on climate change on humans and our planet. A number of international influencers were participated in this campaign activation, including Robert De Niro, Harrison Ford. The video was watched by over 4 million viewers, and the hashtag #ItAffectsYou on Twitter has reached over 122.7 million.
Expo is about creating more green spaces for nature to flourish and to encourage humans and machines to produce less carbon emissions, less waste, and to keep the earth a lot cooler. We get it, the impact of Expo will be felt for years to come, and hopefully it will influence all of us to be a lot more aware and also to be better and more responsible stewards of our beloved planet Earth.
I truly believe that everyone must be involved. Each one of us has a role to play. If all of us take small steps in protecting our environment, it will make a big difference in the long run.
Well, as you can see, some great initiatives worldwide towards the empowerment of individuals and organisations in the fight against climate change at the moment. But a real feeling as well, Ash, that this platform, Expo 2020, is going to forward that conversation to many more people.
Absolutely, I think that's very important because, I mean, I'm a big believer in climate change, and it is important that we all use our resources responsibly. But I feel like there are still a lot of people out there who still have some sort of inhibitions about climate change. So platforms such as Expo 2020 and shows such as this should help, I guess, maybe penetrate into them a little bit better.
Well, you're right. And actually, following on from what you're saying there, one individual who's doing a huge amount to raise awareness about the challenges we are facing at the moment, but also delivering sustainable solutions to organisations across the UAE and further afield. Been doing it since 2009 as one of the leading social enterprises in that field, is, of course, Goombuk, and an absolute pleasure to be joined this morning by the founder and the managing director of Goombuk, Tatiana Antonelli. Welcome to Expo.
Fantastic.
I know, after all the talk, and you and I have discussed this throughout the years, and here we are at the site in person. It's pretty impressive, isn't it?
It's so exciting, and thinking that years ago we were walking here and it was pure desert, and now we're actually seeing marvelous buildings.
Listen, I couldn't ask for a better guest. It's one of these issues. I mean, we talk SDGs all the time. People talk about SDGs that individuals, organisations, countries need to address at the moment, sustainable development goals. There are so many of them, they've all got numbers, etc. They've all got their own little reasons as well. People, I don't feel a connection with SDGs in that conversation. Is Expo 2020 Dubai going to provide a platform for better understanding of our sustainable responsibilities?
I think so. I mean, at the end of the day, as we said before, climate change is a reality, but somehow it's not, it's giving anxiety to people. We're not looking at solutions. We are looking pretty much at what's happening around the world. The Sustainable Development Goals are a tool, something that enables, at the beginning, you know, governments and companies to join the fight to climate change and other very big issues around the world. But there's never been that link to the individuals. As individuals, we'll never feel like we have a role to play. So this is the perfect platform, because at the end of the day, we're going to be able to see the challenges, the solutions, and our role as individuals. And we always talk about corporate social responsibility, policies, regulations. But at the end of the day, we need to start talking about personal social responsibility. What can we do? Sometimes we think there's not much I can do, I'm alone. But actually, if you multiply that by millions of people, the impact is massive.
Personal responsibility is key because it takes every drop at the end of the day. What would you say we can do, or we can do better to combat climate change? Should we plant more trees, try and avoid using our vehicles as much as possible? What would you suggest?
I think the link to climate change and humans is very clear. We are the main cause. And it's the way we live, the way we consume everything, the way we use too much water, too much energy, or we buy too much food that then ends up being waste food. The water we consume, everything around us. So we need to start small, otherwise people are like tomorrow I cannot become the perfect individual. Let's choose one thing that we think is easy to do. Let's maybe consume less plastic. Let's start saving water at home. Instead of having big lush gardens with grass, let's start, you know, changing the way we green our gardens, electricity usage at home, and the way we purchase. Do we need so many clothes in our cupboards?
Oops, sorry. Sorry. A little bit guilty about that one, especially fast fashion, would you say, is one of the leading causes for pollution and too much clutter and wastage, would you say?
Absolutely. We need to think about how things are made, right? There's a big buzzword right now is circular economy. So let's look at our dresses. How are they made? What's the material? Where does it come from? Is it cotton? Well, actually, to grow cotton, it takes thousands of liters of water. You need good soil. So if, you know, I'm going to produce all that to create something that's going to last in your cupboard 6 months, because then there's a new trend and there's a new clothes and that's going to go to waste. Well, that shirt, that dress actually was made of many resources and is just going to waste. So that's where we need to value what we have around us. Buy something more expensive maybe, but you're going to use for years. Think about our grandparents. I still have, you know, beautiful dresses from my grandmother because they were made to last.
And that is why we should just stick to classic fashion. Would you agree, Tatiana?
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us. Please stick around. We're not ready to let you go just yet. It's time for a quick break. After the break, we will speak with Jeff Baker, Chief Experience Officer at CAFU, about why this homegrown startup has launched a gaff seed planting program, and find out more about the Sustainability Pavilion, one of the crown jewels of the Expo site that offers a glimpse of a net zero future. After this.
We talk about Expo being about connecting minds, and we saw it here. We had projects and individuals commenting on other people's projects, saying how they want to connect with them because they fit apart. You can connect over the phone. You can connect on you know, using a digital interface, but nothing really beats shaking somebody's hand and saying, "Thank you for coming," And thank you for inspiring us. And you know, we believe in you. So our program provides $100,000 for those who win. And that's a significant amount. I mean, and we didn't choose that out of nowhere. When I myself asked folks, so how transformational is $100,000 in your business? Was a gentleman from Egypt that said, with that money, I am able to keep my mission. I'm able to hold on to the impact that I want to achieve. Because if I have to go to the bank and if I have to go to an investor, they will ask something of me. They're gonna shift me away from what I want to do. I'm gonna have to be extremely commercial. I'm gonna need to produce numbers for them, and I need to buy more time.
My name is Linda Leukas, I'm from Helsinki, Finland, and my product is called Hello Ruby Love Letters to Computers.
Are you tuned into the weekend edition of Studio Expo with Tom and Ash with you throughout the weekends. Tatiana is still with us here this morning as well. Tatiana, again, thank you for staying with us here at Studio Expo, Expo 2020 Dubai.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Tatiana. It's been an absolute pleasure. Please come back anytime.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, big thanks to Tatiana. Now, lots of hard work, not just from Tatiana, but from so many individuals and organisations here in the UAE. One of those very special projects has been focusing on planting, get this, over 2 million seedlings of the gaff tree. Many of them, all of them, provided by Tatiana. Take a look.
Climate change is a matter of urgency, affecting us all of us, disrupting our lives.
The signs are all there.
We have not once been treating this crisis like an actual crisis.
By the UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which warns that many human-caused effects are now irreversible.
If we don't act quickly to transform our societies, our future generations will be affected by the irreversible impacts of climate change.
If this is how we destroy our planet, or our planet is going to be destroyed that fast and that quick, is there a way we can sort of plant trees that fast and that quick?
To combat climate change, it was decided to grow a small forest of gaff trees. But why the gaff tree? Well, it's a drought-tolerant tree. It's also the national tree of the UAE. Did you know that the gaff tree can live for more than 120 years with very little water? It's a pretty remarkable specimen and a worthwhile venture to encourage its growth. In August 2020, the Emirati team began to collect and sort more than 2 million seeds, which were cleaned and sorted over a period of 21 days at an indoor agricultural farm. Seeds were removed from the gaff pods and packed in special water-retaining clay-based seed balls to protect and nourish the seeds, and then they were ready to be dispersed. Now for the technology innovation part. Engineers researched and developed a multi-rotor drone with a means of carrying and dispersing the gaff seed balls in the desert in a way that was super quick and very efficient. And in this way, biological diversity is being protected and the very principles of sustainable development and conserving natural resources in the environment will be upheld.
Joining us now from CAFU is the Chief Experience Officer, Jeff Baker, to tell us more. Jeff, hi. Thank you so much for joining us over here. Are you enjoying the Expo 2020?
Yes, it's
pavilions?
amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Now, CAFU is a service, I don't know about you, Tom, but I have used several times. It is a fuel delivery service. It's extremely convenient for when you don't have the time to pop down to the petrol station.
Exactly.
So what made you get into sustainability?
Well, I think it's absolutely right that thinking about the Expo, that the starting point for the Expo is sustainability and the climate. As we know, the situation with the climate and global warming is getting worse. We are seeing we are seeing the polar ice caps melt. We're seeing glaciers melt. We're seeing wildfires. It's a question of actually doing something now. And I joined the business, and CAFU started its focus on sustainability as a resultant of that, of trying to change something and do something about that.
Jeff, I like the sentiment of we all have a responsibility. I'm not sure many of us have 2 million seeds worth of responsibility of that. I mean, this is a truly huge undertaking as well. Yeah. And of course, using the latest technology. I love the drone aspect. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so there are actually 2 components to it. We started with the initiative that came from our founder and chief executive, Rashid Al Gharir, to create a pledge. And that pledge was to plant 1 million gaff trees in the desert. So the question is, how do you do that? So there were two components to the development. One was around the seed and the seed ball that we had to create, and the other was then the delivery mechanism, which is the drone-based aspect of it. As a tech-based business, we have people internally that have capabilities and skills in these areas, and Rashid's plan and desire was to actually use those inherent skills we have in the organisation to create that delivery mechanism. So we created the seed ball. We're still working on that, and the seed ball effectively has all the nutrients contained within it, that when you plant the seed, it has the best chance of germinating within the desert. The delivery mechanism, obviously, if you want to plant at pace, having an airborne drone-based delivery system was seen to be the right way to do that, and so we've created the mechanism that sits beneath the drone to actually fire the seeds into the desert to get them to the appropriate depth and to ensure germination.
Jeff, an absolute pleasure. We could talk a lot longer, but I know that you want to get out there and check out some of the pavilions and some of the sites. Big thanks to you. Big thanks to CAFU as well for all of the undertakings there, and thanks for being one of our first guests on
Pleasure.
Expo as well. Much appreciate your time. Listen, as you heard there from Jeff and all the team at CAFU, sustainability and our responsibility very much to the core. And in fact, that is one of the key themes here at Expo 2020. You'll hear a lot more about it here in studio and on site over the course of the next 6 months. In fact, talking of sustainability, let's take a little look at some more of those initiatives.
Expo's gates have swung open, and visitors are now inspired to discover and explore the ethos of sustainability. Built into every brick, the position of every plant, every path, and every flower, in the light of the fact that Expo Dubai 2020 has promised to be the most sustainable expo in the history of the world. The event will provide a new platform to connect minds and to be a catalyst for change. In the world, the operation of buildings contributes as much as 1/3 of the total global greenhouse gas emissions. In fact, cities make up less than 2% of the world's surface, but account for 68% of the emissions. So, in order to minimize gas emissions, a lot of thought and effort went into the design of the Expo infrastructure. Expo designed a low CO2 emission plan into the operation of the assets. The designers took bold steps to control waste, cut down water, and protect the natural biodiversity of the site. 123 buildings of Expo buildings have now received the certification that they are sustainable. They have collected data indicating that the material they have used were environmentally sound, that waste generated was reduced, that water output would be saved, and that building energy consumption was optimized. The entire infrastructure was also designed to combat urban heat island effect, occurring when cities replace natural land cover with dense concentrations of pavement, buildings, and other surfaces that absorb and retain heat. Where greenery is, limited islands of heat emerge. So to combat this, Expo installed beautiful shading structures and dense green walkable avenues lined with trees to keep it shady and cool and keep people walking. They grew indigenous plants and trees to encourage biodiversity and keep us connected to animals and plants, unlocking a new way of thinking for the next generation and beyond that. Not to mention that 80% of the infrastructure will remain after the event, which means that the idea of sustainability will live long after Expo and echo through our lives, our cities, and across the world.
So sustainability, as you've seen, not just a district, but an entire theme down here at Expo 2020 Dubai. And certainly one of the heartbeats, one of the centerpieces of that drive towards sustainability at Expo 2020 Dubai is Terra, the Sustainability Pavilion, which I can vouch is absolutely stunning. We have to walk past it every single day to get into our studio. Tell us a little bit more about it. And a man who's probably walked by it more than most as well is the chairman at Grimshaw Architects, the designers behind the stunning pavilion. Andrew Wally joins us live in studio. Andrew, thank you, for being with us.
No, delighted.
I was going to say welcome to Expo 2020, but I feel you might have been down here a few times.
I've been here since we had a flag and a bit of sand, and there was nothing else at all. So it's been amazing to see it just rise out of the sand. And
Talk to me about briefs if you can, because
yes.
Look, the world of architecture works on client briefs to a certain degree. What was the brief?
Yeah, it was. Well, it asked for a pavilion that would express sustainability and explore sustainability. And I mean, from the beginning, we thought, well, let's really take it as far as we possibly can and make it entirely sustainable. So in other words, it provides everything that it needs: its own energy, its own cooling, its own water, and demonstrate to the world you can actually build a building in what is a very tough climate, and it's completely sustainable. And if you can do it here, then there's no reason why you can't do it anywhere. So it's a world stage, I think, to really demonstrate what's possible.
Absolutely. As Tom mentioned, we walk past it every day and it's absolutely stunning. What has it been like for you? Tell us a little bit about the actual making of it.
Yes.
Is it everything that you hoped it would be?
Oh, and more, I think, to be honest, because you come up with initial sketches and ideas, and then you develop it. And then to realize it means working with thousands of different people, different contractors and suppliers and so on. And we had from the beginning the idea that the main canopy, which would collect the sun, and I think I heard earlier on a conversation about the gaff tree, and the gaff tree was the inspiration for the canopy, and so it harnesses the sun. But we realized that wouldn't be enough to power the entire building, and so we came up with these ideas of energy trees, the E-trees that around the building. And we actually managed to make them move. So you won't see it because they move very slowly, but if you look across the day, they track the sun all day long. And as you develop these ideas, we actually found a company near here that allowed us to make them out of carbon fibre. So it's one of the first times that's been used in a building industry to make them light enough. And it's new technology, but all actually from immediately here in Dubai, which is, I thought, even more exciting.
It's fascinating how we can harvest sunlight and water in pursuit of net zero. Can you tell us what were some of the challenges you faced in the making of the pavilion?
Well, I think actually it was done in quite a short space of time, so it was built very quickly. But actually, the wonderful thing is the quality and everything came together very quickly. But also we wanted for people to have a really enjoyable experience. So we've used if you like, the landscape as part of the experience, and we worked with our long-term collaborators, the Eden Project, on some of the narrative and themes there, and also used plants that haven't really been used in landscapes before. So we wanted to minimize the amount of water, and so we worked with a company here called Desert Inc. And looked at finding new indigenous plants and demonstrated how you can do a really wonderful landscape but using plants that use very little water.
Listen, we could talk for hours. We probably will a little afterwards, but unfortunately we're out of time on this occasion. I'm sure you want to go there and see what some of the other architects have done around here. But for now, Andrew, congratulations on an extraordinary job for you and your team. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.
Great job. Thank you so much, Andrew. Right, time now for a quick break. When we come back, find out how UAE's...
What makes a better world? A better world is a world where all human beings can thrive. A more tolerant, caring, harmonious world. A world where every action counts. Where women and girls can share their vision and achieve their dreams. A world where they can thrive. Because when women thrive, humanity thrives. the Women's Pavilion by Expo 2020 in collaboration with Cartier.
Now, locally, many people are working hard to create local solutions for global sustainability.
One such individual is doing so by raising awareness of sustainable solutions and, most importantly, changing the mindset of corporations, young people, civil society and the public sector.
Joining us in studio is supposed to be Tatiana Antonelli Albella, founder and managing director of Gumbuk. And we would like to wait till she. We spoke to her yesterday, and hopefully they're playing that right now.
No, it's interesting though, because sustainability is obviously so key to all things at the Expo 2020. So it's obviously going to be one of the ones where it's going to be a major issue moving forward with regards to all things sustainability. And talking of sustainability, I mean, it comes in so many different forms, isn't it? Obviously, we've got our sustainability district here at Expo 2020, but it becomes in so many different environmental forms as well. Yeah, we talked to Tatiana about what we needed to do individually, but what we need to do as humanity as a whole is obviously look at all the different elements of, and none more so than marine biodiversity.
Absolutely right, Tom. Now, we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, there's going to be lots more on sustainability, and we have some interesting guests who will tell us more about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like we are not going to break. So
no, because you know what, the consequences of harmful practices such as discarding plastics. I mean, this is something that we've talked about a lot and will be one of the big focuses of Expo 2020. Not just in landfill, but also in oceans as well. It can be seen all too clearly when we look at the plight of endangered sea turtles. I talked about marine biodiversity a little earlier on. Marine biodiversity is, again, one of the key themes that not only will be addressed here, but also discussed in a number of ways. Unfortunately, we see it all too often here in the UAE. Many endangered turtles are found in desperate need in need of help here in UAE waters.
The world has come a long way over the last 20 years in recognizing the need to make conscious decisions which protect the climate and marine life.
In terms of the issues that are being dealt with and addressed at the moment, there is one local organisation that is fighting to protect this beautiful creature at the moment. Let's take a little look at that.
And here's how one local organization is fighting to protect this beautiful creature. Let's have a look.
One is feeling venturesome and you just want to go for a quick paddle off the shores of our beautiful coastal areas like Fujairah. It's pretty likely that you might discover a spectacular coral reef, or you might even meet a turtle. Open your goggled eyes and be captivated by the many colours, shapes and forms of life. This is what scientists call biodiversity, and it is one of the most important concepts in our long-term survival as a species on this planet. Biodiversity means richness. It points to variety, because without it, life would not sustain. Extinctions have always happened, but now they seem to be occurring at an unprecedented rate. And sadly, sea turtles are on that list, and they are also struggling to survive. Human activities like overfishing, pollution, and natural habitat destruction are all having an impact on the lives of our turtles. But there is one place in the world where there is a good chance that you will see a sea turtle cruising through the warm coastal waters: the UAE. Not surprising, as there are many nesting sites around here. The UAE is making a big effort to rehabilitate turtles, so much that they have launched the Dubai Turtle Rehabilitation Project, dedicated to the conservation of these beautiful and vital creatures. They even have a sanctuary where damaged turtles can restore their health and enjoy some R&R. Sea turtles work hard for their place in the blue planet. They keep seagrass beds healthy and maintain the nourishment of coral reefs, providing a crucial habitat for other marine life. So saving our turtles is something we are very proud of here in the UAE, and being able to contribute to a better world and support biodiversity makes us even more filled with pride. Because for what we stand for is what we stand on, this beautiful planet.
I honestly believe that it's one of the great success stories here in the UAE. I mean, I've had the privilege to live here for the last 21 years of my life. Obviously came when I was 18 or something like that. But it's interesting because, you know, from the early initiatives of the Jumeirah group here, you know, used to go up to Madinat Jumeirah and see the turtle sanctuary there. That's obviously developed. Now we see we've got a national institute that protects this endangered species here that are so key to the marine biodiversity of the UAE and the world as a whole. And it's great to see those initiatives, not just from private organisations but public organisations as well. DEWA have an extraordinary programme of rehabilitating turtles as well.
Yeah, it is very important to be wary of this because turtles can be injured severely by the consumption of plastic, and they can have abnormal growths on their shell, which makes it difficult for them to swim. I mean, it is also sad, really, because we are responsible for it, aren't we? I think we really need to look at ourselves and ask the question, what are we doing to unintentionally contribute to this abuse? But as you rightfully said, there are several organizations like the Jumeirah Al-Nasim in particular who have tailor-made programs to meet the demands, or the needs, not demands, of sick turtles. So that is indeed a great initiative. And a lot of the times I've read that it is the members of the general public who find a lot of turtles dead and washed away on the shores.
Yeah, and therefore
really.
it is imperative upon members of the public to bring those turtles, the turtles that have been injured, not just by the discarding of plastics that we've talked about there, but also the very busy shipping lanes that we've got at the moment. There's a lot going on in terms of the marine life, the marine world that they call home as well, that we use for pleasure and trade as well. So obviously a lot of initiative in terms of the actions that we're taking. As we said, a number of organisations doing there, but as we've just highlighted there. And equally, I think key, Expo 2020, again, I've said it time and time again, I'll say it again, the platform for those sort of discussions moving forward at the moment. So long may that continue.
Hopefully we can catch up with Tiffany to find out more, but time now for a quick break. We will see how Expo is nurturing native plant life on site at its very own plant nursery.
That's right, Ash, and the entire facility is completely pesticide free.
Today, more than ever, when the world comes together to create a better tomorrow.
It's going to be magic. Oh,
La magie. Magic. Magic with learning.
Magic with music.
Magic with technology.
With collaboration.
With architecture.
With business opportunities.
Magic with flavor.
Magic with celebration.
With your safety.
From here.
There.
And everywhere.
For 6 whole months, day and night.
Join the making of a new world starting October 1st.
Welcome back to Studio Expo. Now joining us in the studio, we have someone who knows a thing or two about preserving biodiversity in the UAE, specifically in the marine elements. Tiffany Delport is the Director of Marine Environmental Operations at EMEG, the Emirates Marine Environmental Group. Tiffany, welcome to you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Big discussion about turtles this morning, and I know that marine biodiversity depends on so much more than turtles, but why are turtles key, or what role do they play in marine biodiversity, specifically here in the UAE?
So within the United Arab Emirates, we have a number of different types of species of turtle. Within Dubai specifically, we have the largest nesting population on the coastal shores of hawksbill turtles. Now, hawksbills are actually critically endangered, and this means that they face incredibly high risk of becoming extinct within the wild. In Dubai, at Jebel Ali Wildlife Sanctuary, we have a number of different species. The area itself is actually a Ramsar site. This means that it's a global area of ecological and biological significance. So within this area, we have the turtles, we have a number of different shark and ray species, migratory bird species, as well as our mangroves, all coming together to complete a really unique ecosystem.
The whole theme of Expo is biodiversity. How crucial would you say it is, and how important is it to live sustainably?
So we live within an ecosystem, and an ecosystem is comprised of a number of different parts, a number of different elements that all come together to ensure the health of the ecosystem functions. If you remove one element, our ecosystems begin to struggle. So for example, at Jebel Ali Wildlife Sanctuary, we have a large mangrove forest. Now mangroves are incredibly important for our sustainable future. They are resilient in that they don't need to rely so heavily on fresh water, they rely on seawater. And they're also one of the primary trees or organisms within our blue carbon seascapes that help to filter or sequester carbon out of the atmosphere.
I know that you and the team at EMEG obviously are addressing these issues and trying to shine a light on these issues 360 days a year, etc. How important is this? How important is Expo 2020? It's a platform for discussion. Yeah, we know that sustainability is one of the key topics here, but how important are the next 6 months going to be in order to drive that narrative forward?
Events like Expo 2020 are incredibly valuable, primarily from the aspect of community engagement and raising awareness within the national population. Now, a number of individuals may not be aware of our unique ecosystems that we have here within the United Arab Emirates. So events such as this draw attention to our different conservation initiatives. They draw attention to our unique carbon seascapes that need to be monitored and conserved for a sustainable future.
What would you say is the importance of turtles when it comes to conserving biodiversity?
So the hawksbill turtle itself is a keystone species within the marine environment. So our hawksbill turtles help to support healthy coral reefs. Our hawksbill turtles also recycle nutrients back into the coastal dunes when they nest, which is incredibly important for protecting our shores and our coastlines.
We see the population growing here in the UAE at the moment, as is globally, etc. What impact is that having on the coastlines of the UAE, given the amount of leisure but also trade, shipping that we're seeing at the moment?
There are a number of coastal developments, as well as you mentioned, marine activities occurring on the coast of the UAE. But I also think it's really important to draw attention to the positives that are occurring. By raising awareness, we're having more marine conservation efforts, more programs that are dedicated to protecting our baby turtles, for example. So as the population grows and as we have engagement in more events like this, we're actually raising awareness, which is a positive for moving forward.
But is that message getting across at the moment? Do you feel the narrative is being listened to more?
It definitely is being listened to more. We have a number of different non-government governments as well as private sector stakeholders that are proactively contributing to conserving our marine ecosystems. By being able to talk about our turtles and even our ecosystems on a segment like today is really raising awareness within the broader community.
Tiffany, I could listen to you all day. You have such a relaxing voice.
Calming, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so calming. I could listen to you all day on repeat. Thank you so much for also shedding light on a very important and crucial subject such as biodiversity and the importance of conserving turtles. And Tom and I have been discussing a lot about taking personal responsibility as well. Thank you so much. We hope to catch up with you soon within the next 6 months. We'll be right here. You know where to find us. All right, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Now, the plants at the Expo 2020 are being supplied by Dubai Municipality with 90% sourced from local farms and nurseries.
Indeed, the shrubs and the trees are either indigenous to the UAE or adaptable to the local environment here, which reduces the amount of water required for irrigation. Here's more on Expo 2020's plant nursery.
My name is Dina Story. I am Director of Sustainability at Expo 2020. Expo Sustainability was a commitment that the UAE made during the bid, and they promised to have and host one of the most sustainable expos in world history. And we put together specific objectives that include ensuring that the buildings are sustainable, but also the infrastructure, as well as the fauna and flora that you see around you. The nursery's importance, it basically is the heart of where the fauna comes from. And the plants that you see around you are all grown, germinated here and then moved to the site.
Welcome to our productive environment, the greenhouse, one of our 4 greenhouses here at Expo Nursery. This is a really productive environment in the sense that we've got the whole life cycle starting from the germination of the seeds. The seeds very kindly donated by the Dubai municipality, coming from the UAE seed bank. We'll grow them in a controlled environment. It's still quite warm outside, so we'll try and grow them in this environment and when they're hardened and established, we'll bring them outside and plant them.
Tell me a bit more about the soil.
If we look at the soil composition here, it's made up of mainly green waste material. It's broken down. We add a little bit of cocoa peat to give it fibre and some mineral products, and then that's it. That's our soil. So we produce it all here. But what we're trying to achieve here at Expo is a combination of look and feel, but at the same time have a productive landscape, a landscape that produces crops and yields. We produce it within this greenhouse facility again, and we will take it out and plant it in our terra pavilion in various parts of the landscape, and that's it, a very productive landscape. Within a few weeks and months we'll produce edibles.
The importance of this is that, again, we're trying to focus on native and adaptive. And native and adaptive means that we also reduce our water intake. It also helps us attract a number of wildlife. One of them is wild bees. And through our collaborations, we've ensured that the bees here have a home. If you go around the site, you'll see these signs that says bees on premises, and the reason for that is so that we can highlight the importance of the bees and to the ecosystem of the Expo. We just last week did a honey harvest from the bees that we relocated, and now instead of 1 hive we have 4 hives. So as of now we've actually harvested over 100 jars of honey, and we call it the Expo honey. The importance of biodiversity stems back to the founder of the UAE, Sheikh Zayed, where he focused entirely on ensuring that the native plants of the UAE are highlighted and are grown across the desert. And so we took that and we expanded it and we brought this vision to life on the site. We believe that the Expo legacy is not, of course, only the buildings, but also the way that we managed this beautiful Expo from a sustainability perspective. The Expo is actually a pilot for the rest of Dubai, the UAE, and the world. And we're hoping by having the visitors here and making them see all of what we're doing, they can then take these learnings home and they can implement them at home, and that the story of Expo continues and ripples around the world.
Now, Expo 2020 truly is a family event, something that Dubai and the UAE always do so well.
Yeah, indeed. And one of the biggest attractions for kids down here at Expo 2020 is the chance to meet all the robots out there. There's loads of them.
Loads of them, more robots than people, I would say. Joining us here in studio is our very own reporter, Ashna Taktani. Welcome, Ashna, to our studio.
Oh my God, thank you so much, guys, for having me here.
The youngest reporter on Studio Expo, and probably the youngest reporter I've ever met in my life. Why? How does it feel? I was so awkward at 12. How are you doing this?
Well, it's what my parents say. I am made for the camera, and I will tell you this, it is my Zen place. It is my nirvana, so that's I think how I do it. I don't know, but it is an honor to be here with the two of you, and you guys are looking great today. How are you?
Thank you. It's the hair and makeup team. We need to thank for that. Well, you're looking well yourself. All right, Ashna, so you are our youngest cool reporter on Studio Expo. Tell us all the cool things we can find here at Expo over the next 6 months.
Well, there are so many amazing things and activities here at Expo 2020. It's no wonder why this is going to be the greatest show of all time. It's actually hard to believe that they're going to pack all this action and excitement into just 6 months. But I will tell you, personally, the things that excite and fascinate me the most. Number one being the size of Expo 2020. It is huge. In fact, did you know, and
well, You're 12 years old. You have all the energy to run around this huge place.
I don't know. I wouldn't be so sure about that because, in fact, did you know that Expo 2020 is actually twice the size of Monaco?
Wow.
It's twice the size of an actual country, so I wouldn't be so sure that even a 12-year-old would have that much energy to run around this whole
With your
expo.
energy, I wouldn't be surprised.
Second thing being, there is a water feature at Expo 2020, okay? And in this water feature, there are 3 areas to represent the 3 elements, water, fire, and earth. I saw a bit of the water show yesterday. It is spectacular. It is so cool to actually see the water, like, you know, dancing with the music in a synchronized manner. And did you know the composer who composed this music is the same person who created the Game of Thrones theme music? That's pretty cool, yeah. And I would advise you guys to go and check the water feature out at nighttime.
Are you allowed to watch Game of Thrones?
No, it's just a fact that I know. Don't worry, everything I watch is PG.
Okay.
PG.
Well, I don't mind. You know, it's between you and your parents. So.
Yeah. No, but I would advise you to watch it at nighttime because that's when the colors come in. And the water defies gravity. That's when it goes into a reverse flow of motion. This is something you definitely cannot miss. But, you know, there's a deeper meaning to this attraction. It in a way represents us humans and how, as different as we may be in our personal and cultural expressions, when we come together with a purpose, we can achieve anything. We can achieve wonderful things. And actually, Expo 2020 is a product of this cooperation and this purpose, you know, connecting minds, creating the future. So
how are they doing that through technology? I mean, obviously you're a digital native. You are very in tune with all things technology. And that seems to be a real focus here at Expo 2020, that reliance on technology to get the message across.
Well, actually, I'll be honest with you. Don't know how they do it, but there is a company that they told me that handles this. And the lady who I met yesterday, she told me we had a vision. She said we had a vision. We worked with our composer. We wanted to represent this deeper meaning through that vision. And I don't know,
But in terms of the sort of, you know, we've heard a lot. We mentioned earlier about robots. You know, we've been told that everywhere you go here, be it the water feature, be it school groups coming in and drones meeting them and robots delivering refreshments to you, etc. Are robots something that you've run into as yet or not?
Actually, that's my next point. That is exactly what I was going to say to you. They fascinate me so much. There are around, I think, 150 robots in total roaming at Expo. And there are different types of robots. You mentioned a couple of ones. We have a type of robot that helps maintain social distancing. We have one that can help you, you know, find your way through Expo because, again, it's huge. And like you mentioned, refreshments. We even have a robot that can bring you coffee. I mean, where is the future headed? A robot that can bring you coffee? Like, what? But the most fascinating one, and yes, I did bump into this robot actually yesterday, is the mascot of Opportunity. You know Opti, right? The mascot of Opportunity, really cute. He now comes to life with his very own Opti robot, which you can see roaming around at Expo. I saw a couple of them yesterday, and they are so cute. Like, literally one look, and you'll be squealing, oh my God, Opti! You know? So yeah, there are a lot of robots. Like you said, technology is something that they're focusing on a lot.
We mentioned that there is a passport. Your challenge, Ashna, is to find every robot on this venue, okay?
Got it.
You good with that?
Challenge accepted.
Thank you so much indeed for being with us. And thanks for being part of the Studio Expo team as well. Much appreciated. So much. And talking of Studio Expo, there's plenty more to look forward to over the course of the next 6 months and, of course, the next few moments. Stay with us.
What makes a better world? A better world is a world where all human beings can thrive. A more tolerant, caring, harmonious world. A world where every action counts. where women and girls can share their vision and achieve their dreams. A world where they can thrive, because when women thrive, humanity thrives. The Women's Pavilion by Expo 2020 in collaboration with Cartier.
Welcome back. You're watching Studio Expo. We've just had the lovely Ashna in studio with us, who told us about all the fun stuff we can look forward to here at the Expo site. Tom, I believe there's something interesting happening at the French Pavilion today.
Indeed, with so much going on around Expo 2020, we'll be updating you with the latest main events happening throughout the day. And one thing you will not want to miss is, of course, as Ash mentioned, the National Day celebrations. Every day here at Expo, we're celebrating different countries and different cultures. Today, Ash, it's
France. Did you know that the French Pavilion has a layer of colorful solar panels inspired by Claude Monet's series of water lilies, oil paintings that cover the roof and rear facade of the French Pavilion?
I didn't know.
Well, you know now. Let's take a look at what we can experience down at the French Pavilion.
Mobility is at the very core of human progress in the coming years. We consider that mobility is at the core of any progress in terms of human, urban, rural development in the world. As citizens, we want to have a more convenient, agreeable life in cities, and that convenience goes through a better mobility. Expos in general are important events for France, as it is devoted to progress, to science, to mutual and better knowledge of everyone on the earth. The concept of the pavilion is based on the idea that light is at the core of human progress and mobility. And consequently, we have designed a pavilion around this idea of light, and light will be used for the pavilion by day and by night, but light as a physical phenomenon is connected to enlightenment, which means the progress of human being. And all our exhibition inside the pavilion will be based on that idea of light enlightenment. The National Day of France is devoted, of course, to the presentation of cultural, scientific heritage of France. Our own astronaut, Thomas Pesquet, who is right now in this ISS, and we have a dialogue with people located on Al-Wazal Plaza. The message is that space in general and the spatial science is clearly a key action for all human progress, For instance, for sustainability, we have, of course, the famous SDGs of the UN, and most of the SDGs are linked with things that will happen in space. The French astronaut left the Earth last April for a 6-month mission, which will soon end, with the purpose of improving, in fact, several discoveries that will be tested in the space station on different issues, climate, mobility, for instance, or some others.
It's been fascinating to watch. It's aptly titled Lights, because it showcases light really as a catalyst for progress and a real vehicle for connections, and of course a source of heat and creativity. It also really shows how proud the French are of their culture and their dedication towards sustainability. I'm really looking forward to their National Day parade.
Yeah, and they have the privilege of being the first parade of many, well, over 100 parades coming up for the course of the next, 170 plus days. They're designed as a National Day showcase, I'm told. So not every single one of the days falls on national days per se, but each of the nations taking part have been given the opportunity to well, show things that they are renowned for, to really sort of show their culture, their food, their dance, their art, etc. So it'll be interesting to see. I think France will be setting the bar pretty high on day one.
I hope so, because I mean they have the privilege of being the first ones to have their National Day showcase. I believe tomorrow is the Ugandan National Day showcase. Hopefully we can get a live feed from all the action happening over there.
We're going to go live every single day actually here on Studio Expo. So 10:30 every single morning we go live out there. A lot of it takes place just out the back here at the Al Wasl Dome and the Avenue as well. So a number of dignitaries turning out, especially for number one, as they will throughout the course of all of the National Day parades, the national showcases, if you like. I'm looking forward to each and every one of them.
Yeah, and although it is not the actual National Day of these countries, but each country has been allocated a day throughout the next 6 months. But what I'm really looking forward to is the actual UAE National Day on the 2nd of December, because UAE will be celebrating its golden jubilee as it turns 50 years old, and it's going to be absolutely fascinating. And for someone like myself who's lived in this country for 30 plus years, I'm really looking forward to celebrate this moment.
Yeah, I think there might be fireworks.
I hope so. There's always fireworks.
There's always fireworks.
Yeah, it's a given.
There'll be fireworks. Look, great ceremonies and celebrations taking place all around Expo 2020, just at the back here. But one that still stands out is, of course, and we're still getting over it, the opening ceremony, which featured some world-famous, familiar faces you're sure to recognise. Look, if you missed it, don't you worry. Here's just a little reminder of one of them.
To find a place, guide us with your grace, give us faith so we'll be safe. In a finican, vaya Gesù in noi. Sento che ci salve.
What a phenomenal performance. Of course, the legendary Andrea Bocelli. I had goosebumps while watching him perform. He was obviously the main star of the event and also the closing act. What really stood out for you from that performance?
Exactly that, Bocelli closing things off. But I love that moment at the end as well when all the other performers joined Andrea on stage as well to sort of acknowledge the crowd and just to sort of round things off perfectly. And what a setting. Set the bar very, very hard for all the other shows, events and entertainment to come here at Expo.
Absolutely. I had so many people texting me, asking me for passes to go to that because, I mean, it's one of those events that you really do not want to miss out on. The performances, the light projections, all the kids over there. It was just fascinating. I would love to, go back online and have a look at it in case you've missed it. Now here to tell us more is Kate Randall, Vice President, Ceremonies and Programming Events and Entertainment at Expo 2020, and Amna Abdulhaul, the Executive Creative Director at the Expo 2020. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. First of all, what a phenomenal event. I mean, everybody is talking about it, texting about it, tweeting about it. What was it like, Kate, to start off with you to organize an event of this scale?
It was amazing to see it come to life. Just a short few nights ago, we started planning for this opening ceremony in September of 2018. So the planning, the discussions have been in the works for quite some time now. So to see it all come together in the way that it did and see and hear the reactions of the people that were here live and watching from home was absolutely amazing. What a great start to Expo.
Indeed. I mean, Amna, the bar has been set very high, isn't it? I mean, you've been working on the programme as a whole. Obviously, a big focus on opening night as well, but we've got 6 months straight after opening night as well. Give us a little insight as to how long that planning has been going on.
So to be honest, we always thought that this is the time where we can project the story to the world. And when we see Expo, we see a book, and the opening ceremony is the cover page. We have 182 chapters to go. And this is just a teaser, I would say.
And what a teaser it was. Can you give us a little taste of what we can expect, some of the biggest events we can expect? I mean, I'm guessing the National Day is coming up in just a couple months. That's going to be huge. But what can we expect over the next 6 months?
So what's interesting with this book is that there are golden chapters within. So I wouldn't reveal much. It's nice to have a surprise because what we do is really curate things emotionally. Emotion is the common language of the world. And this is something we wanted by end of Expo, to bring the whole globe as one. So hopefully the first start was the opening ceremony, to invite the world to us.
And Kate, I suppose what's unique about this event and unique about the platform we've got is that you guys are working tirelessly behind the scenes to deliver the official calendar of events, and yet we've got all these 190 plus pavilions that are bringing their own events to town as well. So there's so much going on.
Yeah, there is a lot to see on a daily basis, and when Amna talks about the 182 days or chapters of the book, some of that we can write and plan for in advance. Others is purely a surprise and is amazing to delight our guests on a daily basis. So pavilions have their own programs in their spaces, but we're also really pleased to feature a lot of their performances on our marquee stages and venues across the
So how do people stay in touch? How do you find out? How do you keep in touch with what's going on?
Yeah, so all of the information about our program of events is on Expo's website and on the app. So everybody should definitely check in on a daily basis to see what's going on. A lot of what we're doing is published in those spaces, but we're also keeping some surprises up our sleeve when visitors come. Some days you'll never know what you're going to see when you walk around the corner.
I mean, this place is full of surprises, is it? I mean, we ourselves, although we come here almost every day, we're discovering new things as we come in and learning about new activations as well. Amna, what are some of the challenges you face when it comes to organizing something of this mammoth magnitude?
To be honest, it's teamwork. And any challenge, we turn it into opportunity. And we work with the best people around the world. We really connected mind and created the future before even October 1. So I would say when you have a good team and good leadership, led by Her Excellency Reem Al Hashimi, I don't think you will have ever doubt of a challenge, the outcome.
thank you, both of you, for being with us. Thank you also for your contributions, your team's contributions to this extraordinary event. I'm going to let you go because I know that you've probably got an eye on what's going on out there in a few moments' time as well. The first national showcase, looking forward to that one. But Kate and Amna, thank you so much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Listen, coming up, some more highlights from that opening ceremony for those that missed it, with more global artists and, of course, celebrities taking centre stage. Stay with us.
From farmers' fields to city streets, oceans and seas to starry skies, our world is changing. And so are we. We are researching, discovering and innovating. We are learning, collaborating and empowering. And we are doing it for the future of the planet, the future of the people, and the future of what's possible. We are inspiring a world of change.
Welcome back to Studio Expo. I'm a little bit excited about this national showcase, the first parade of Studio Expo 2020.
Absolutely. And of course, just bouncing back off Kate and Amna, the opening ceremony, which everyone is still talking about, was a fascinating event. And we have one of the performers who will be joining us shortly. Who was your favorite performer from the opening night?
Well, in fact, we're going to actually see a little clip from one of my favorite. And it's a bit of a personal thing because she comes from the same town that I grew up in and went to school in. Hereford is a small rural town. No, it's a city. It's a city. But Ellie Goulding
have
is
you
one
bumped
of
into each other ever?
No,
at the local, I don't know,
dare,
chip and ship.
Dare I say it?
Fish and chip shop. Fish and chip shop.
Dare I say it? I think Ellie's a little bit younger than me. Yeah. So I was probably a couple of years older at school. But no, she is one of the most famous residents. It was great to see her. But I mean, to go back to the point that there were so many different nationalities represented in that opening ceremony. And again, we saw earlier, didn't we, Andrea Bocelli at the end, and the fact that he was joined by all the other artists for that final sort of swan song, that final roll call, was very telling as to what is one of the most impressive elements, I think, about Expo as a whole.
The Expo as a whole is an event that is meant to celebrate human connections and innovations. The entertainment is just the bonus, the perks of the event. On the opening night, it was such a multi-sensory immersive experience, and some of the big performers we had on the night was, of course, the legendary Andrea Bocelli. Then we had a lot of local talent like Hussein Al-Jasmi, who performed the Expo song along with Almas and Mesa Akara. Then, of course, another one of Emirati singers who is a hot favorite in this part of the world. We had Elham Al-Shamsi, who does a lot of shows on Dubai TV, and they really enjoy her performance as well. We had Chinese pianist Lang Lang and Angelique Kidjo. These were some of the star performers.
Do you mind if I indulge myself? Is that okay? I know I keep banging on about Ellie Goulding, but I'd just
Go
like
for it, Tom.
Do you mind if we just take a moment just to remind ourselves of how good Ellie Goulding was on opening night?
It was a really, amazing moment. I haven't been able to perform like this for a long, long time, and yeah, I really haven't been able to even perform songs from my album. So it's great to come and sing a song that really is close to my heart and one of my favourite songs I've written, actually. So, wow, visiting Expo 2020. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, I can see already, it's just such an amazing coming together of minds, of innovation. I love the fact there's such an emphasis on sustainability. There has to be, really, there has to be. And it's really, really cool. It's really, really cool. Come and see it. It feels amazing to be in the UAE when they are hosting the Expo for the first time. I think it's one of those kind of pivotal moments. I think we all need a pivotal moment at the in the world right now. I think the idea that this is something new here is just a really great sign that things are changing for the better, and the UAE are really forward with their green initiatives, and it is a pretty green place as far as in comparisons with some other countries and other places. So I'm proud to be a part of it, and I think it's like I said, it's like a moment that we need, and we need to keep having these special and new moments. I think the most important issue for young people when it comes to sustainability is actually the young people are the ones who are understanding it and getting it right. It's actually the older generations that need to change, and particularly those in power. The young people are being brilliant. I think they have no issue in understanding what we need to do and how the world needs to change. Obviously, having a platform for young people who are trying to fight for more sustainability and for more green initiatives, they're doing it every day. They're going out on strike, they are asking their schools, they're asking their local communities, what can we do to change things? So actually, it's not them that need, help. It's getting the older generations to listen to them, and getting people who can actually change policy to listen to them, because they're the smartest of all of us, and they've had to inherit this climate crisis. It wasn't caused by them, but they're the ones that are going to have to face the consequences of it in the future. So we need to listen to them.
Award-winning artist Ellie Goulding there, and again, interesting to hear what she was saying there. Not just about the performance to the millions that were tuning in, but the reason that she came here. She's keen to throw her weight, her influence, her personality behind what is trying to be achieved by Expo.
Absolutely, I could almost hear the butterflies flutter in your belly as you watched that performance. Did you enjoy it? Do you want a glass of water?
I've had the privilege to work with Ellie in the past, a couple of events, a couple of charity events back in the UK and elsewhere. So she's a good girl, and it's great to have her here in Dubai as part of Expo.
She's a fascinating singer, no doubt. I love her music. Hopefully she'll make a comeback sometime soon. I mean, we are here for 6 months.
Yeah. The door is always, or the gates are always open down here at Expo. Look, as you know, there is no bigger stage in the world right now than Expo 2020 Dubai. So it's only fitting that the event has its own theme song. In fact, the talented Lebanese singer Maysa Kera shares her thoughts on performing for the world, and we're absolutely happy and privileged to have her here in studio with us live right now. Maysa, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
How was it? How was opening night?
It was amazing, overwhelming, magical, fun, exciting. I can't describe it with like more emotions, but we worked hard for it and it went by too quick. Like I wanted to enjoy the moment for a longer time.
let's take a step back and talk to us about when you were first approached as well. When did you first get an inkling that you were going to be performing on the night?
Around March or April.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. Okay. I have been, I had been working for Expo for a while actually, helping to set up the Firdaus all-female orchestra under the patronage of Mr. A.R. Rahman. So it already felt like home. And so, but I definitely did not expect, to be selected to be a part of the song. So I want to thank Her Excellency Rima Al-Hashmi for inviting me to be a part of it. It was definitely extremely exciting when I found out who the other artists are. And it's been an incredible journey, and it was such a pleasure to work with the team.
We definitely want to hear more about the opening song, but I have to ask you, what was it like working with Oscar-winning musical maestro A.R. Rahman, who appointed you as the artistic director for the Firdaus Orchestra?
I've been working with A.R. for a while now. I sang on a couple of movies that he produced in India. Such an amazing human being, humble, talented, and truly, seeks collaborations and openness and, diversity in the music that he really produces. So it's always a pleasure and an honor to be working with him. And this orchestra is also an incredible initiative, and it's only the beginning for them, but I can see how much their work and their music, can do wonders.
In terms of the event as a whole as well, I mean, a lot of focus on opening night, with good reason as well. Yourself and other huge names are throwing their support behind the event. But is it important to sort of keep that momentum going, keep the message repeating throughout the next 6 months?
You mean in terms of the song? Or?
In terms of the song, in terms of what we're trying to achieve through Expo 2020 as well.
Of course, I think the programming will speak for itself. Yeah. The fact that it's reaching so many different countries all over the world under one platform, artists coming from all over the world. This doesn't happen every day. This is something that we're all looking forward to really witness the magic that is going to happen, where people are going to come here to inspire each other and get inspired at the same time. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Have you seen that reaction already?
I have, definitely. Especially at the end when we were walking on stage with Andrea Bocelli and doing the bow. It was a moment where we all felt like unity, and through music, through arts is really power. So, and it's really the reason why all of us musicians are doing what we do and love it so much, because we see how much bridges we can build through music, and how no barriers can be created once we put people who love to collaborate with each other and come from different walks of life, but also enjoy delivering messages through their music.
Maysa, I read somewhere that the number of female musical artists who get signed on by Middle East labels are only comprised of about 13%, which is a very low number. Do you think events such as Expo and musical geniuses such as A.R. Rahman are really paving the way, especially after he put together an all-female orchestra such as the Firdaus Orchestra and appointed you as the artistic director?
Absolutely. I think that this is also the mission behind Expo, giving equal opportunities for male and female artists. And the idea also behind the orchestra is to provide a platform for women to shine and to also develop creative capacity in the region. So it's not just about hiring female musicians and saying, here's a platform. It's a place where you can grow and where there will finally be a place for women to shine.
Maysa, we could chat to you all day, but unfortunately we have to wrap up. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. We're going to be here. Feel free to come back anytime, and hopefully next time you can sing for us.
Next time,
Thank
for
you
sure.
so much.
Thank you.
All right, that's it for Tom and me this weekend. We'll be back on Friday, but don't forget to tune in to the Studio Expo show tomorrow morning.
Until then, stay safe when you visit Expo 2020. Don't forget to share pics with the hashtag Expo2020. We'll show you our favourites online.
Absolutely. Have a great day and goodbye. Thank you so much, Mesa. Sorry about that. We had to rush you. Yep, yep.
Safe when you visit Expo.
Today, more than ever, when the world comes together to create a better tomorrow.
It's going to be magic. Oh,
La magie.
Magic. Magic with learning. Magic with music.
Magic with technology.
With collaboration.
With architecture.
With business opportunities.
Magic with flavor.
Magic with celebration.
With your safety.
From here.
There.
And everywhere.
For 6 whole months, day and night.
Join the making of a new world starting October 1st.
Saruq al-Hadid, it's one of the largest archaeological sites in the United Arab Emirates and also in the Arabian Peninsula. It goes back to the late Iron Age, which is around 1600 BC, so around 3600 years from now. And it's in the middle of the desert. Very nice that it was discovered by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed. He was in the helicopter and he was flying in the deserts of Dubai. And then he found between the sands from maybe say 500 meters high, there are some black things in the sand, which is unusual thing. The plot itself, it's about 2 kilometer by 2 kilometer Until now, only 10% of that area is excavated, and about 25,000 pieces of different things, arrowheads, stone ones, bronze ones, and then iron swords, iron daggers, very nice seals from different countries, even seals from Egypt, from the Pharaoh, seals from Syria, seals from Iraq. And people ask why we have seals from Egypt in Dubai. Because when the goods were coming from, it's like the stamp. When the goods are coming from Egypt, then the seal of the Pharaoh will be on it. If the good is coming from Syria, the seal will be on it. And same thing from Delmon, from Bahrain, or from Iraq. And the same thing when the goods are going out from Saruq al-Hadid to these countries, the seal of Saruq al-Hadid will be on it, so you can find it in Egypt, in Iraq, in Bahrain, and in Syria. And a lot of different items and things, and still the excavation is going on to find more. Who are these people? Why they have selected this location in the desert, which is a very, again, it's a question. In the middle of the desert, it's not near to a mountain where they can get the bronze or they can the iron. The nearest iron could be got from the mountains, which is about 70 kilometers away. And a very big question is, okay, these people who lived here, because we didn't find any houses, any tents, any graves. So these people, where they were living, and if someone passes away, where they bury him, again, all of these questions are not answered yet. Now, why His Highness selected this piece? As you see, the ring, it's exactly what we can say al-wasl, the connection, which we have in the middle of Expo. So that is what is connecting different parts of the world. And the 20 pieces of gold, which is outside and inside, we can consider that these are the wings of different countries. So the ring is in the middle, and all of these countries, as we see on the plan of Expo 2020, are connected together. So that is the connection. The ring itself, the circle, it gives always the idea of continuity, the future. It never ends. It is starting and it's going around and around. So that is showing the future itself. It gives also the mobility, because usually the wheel is the circle, and that is the idea for the cars, for the machines, for all of these things. So that is the mobility. And then the connectivity between the people in this area. So again, we think that this symbol is talking about the past, which is history, present of Dubai, and the future of another 3,000 years history to come, and gathering people in this area. And the idea of the gold itself, because gold always shows the richness. So it is the economy, and Dubai, we call it the city of gold, and it is the opportunities which gives to others to develop and to work and to business and things. And that is what Dubai is about.
Welcome to Expo 2020.
Hello, welcome to Expo.
Hey guys, welcome to the Expo.
Welcome to Expo.
I am here for the Expo 2020 in Dubai, and I'm so excited. There are so many countries around the world in one huge place like this. This is in Expo 2020.
I'm from Japan. I'm very excited. Expo. I'm very excited to see the districts and the different pavilions. I am excited to visit the Jubilee. I haven't been yet. Also, the Al Wasl Pavilion, the Al Wasl would have concerts. I'm very excited for that. Also, to get to meet different peoples from all around the world.
I'm from Armenia, and I'm so excited and looking forward to go around Expo. Right now, I'm at the Thailand Pavilion. I can see there's a lot of lovely shows happening, and I can't wait to see it.
My name is Sumit, and we are here today in Mobility District of Expo 2020. I'm here with my family. Look at my son, he's talking to Opti. Now I'm going in this building name, which is Alif, and I think it's going to be really wonderful. So I request everyone to come and have fun in this expo. It's wonderful.
I'm from Britain and Iran. I just went in that building right there and it blew my mind. It was incredible. For sure I'm coming again, I know, because I want to see everywhere here. I've seen a few of the countries so far and the architect behind it and everything. I'm definitely gonna have to come back here. There's way too much to see in one day, and I'm gonna look forward to come back again and again and again.
This water feature, actually, it's really hard to call it a water feature because it's not. It's just a full immersive experience that has so many elements from nature, whether it's earth, water, fire, music, wind, so many elements from nature that creates this immersive experience that has never been done before. The amount of thoughts and the amount of technology, the amount of ideas, creativity, that were put in this water feature is something extremely exceptional.
We invested ourselves in the three driving themes of the Expo: sustainability, mobility, and opportunity. I mean, sustainability, the reuse of water. In fact, our fire in the center, which will just be magnificent for people, there's no carbon put into the atmosphere. That's hydrogen. And water, what is more sustainable than the repeated recycled use of water? The technology that went into this feature to make water behave like it does. I mean, water's gonna do things here that people haven't seen it done before. That's opportunity. And we have a great creative first here. You know, my company, we build water features all over the planet. The Dubai fountain here, for instance, is one that we created. But a traditional musical water fountain, well, you start with an existing song, a piece of music, and then we have to choreograph the water to match. For this project, we paired up with, in my opinion, the greatest musical composer alive, Ramin Djawadi. He composed the music for Game of Thrones, Westworld, Iron Man. We collaborated for the first time ever to co-create. As he wrote the music, we choreographed the water, and we choreographed and he wrote. That's never happened before. And you'll see the magnificence of that partnership when you come to Expo.
Visitors can expect so much from the actual water feature and the surroundings. It's the destination for families. It's a place to hang out, to relax. It's more of the spa location of the entire Expo.
My name is Hinda Zaraoni. I am a senior manager and the project lead of This Is Our Time music video. As an Emirati, giving this opportunity is a huge, something great, to be honest, like to be working in this kind of project and give back to the country, something I always wanted to do. And even that was my main goal when I joined Expo, to give back to my country. And this is something really exciting to be working with or being part of this project. I really want them to feel, to touch their feeling and to give them some excitement or touch their emotions and make them feel proud of what we are trying to do and achieve in this project. So I hope it will leave a mark in people's hearts when they see it.
experience in Expo. Oh my god. It's like the biggest opportunity that came to me in my life until now. I'm 21 though. So أحسن بروجكت دخلت فيه بصراحة وأحسن ناس اشتغلت معاهم من الكرو لحد الارتست أكيد طبعا. ميسان حسين الجسمي كانوا هيلبفul وايد معي من الأول. أحس إني وايد فخورة كإماراتية إني أنا أكون بشي نفس هذا. إني أمثل اللي اختاروني أنا اللي أمثل اليونجر جنريشن هني.
Expo 2020 is going to be an exceptional expo, and we wanted to take our song one step further, where it becomes our soundtrack for the whole of the expo. So the title of our song is called This Is Our Time. In Arabic, that's Hada Wagetna, which, as you can tell, is very easy to say, and that's kind of why we chose the Arabic lyrics in the song, because it's something that even I can sing along to. It was important that the Arabic lyrics in the song were something that can be sung by anyone from anywhere.
أغنية هذا وقتنا حلم بمقاييس عالمية تحقق في إكسبو 2020 دبي، لأن إكسبو دائما إكسبو 2020 دبي يحقق الأحلام. اليوم تجمعنا ثقافي، تجمعنا فني، تجمعنا بحب، أكيد نحمل رسالة كبيرة من الإمارات إلى العالم.
From farmers' fields to city streets, oceans and seas to starry skies, our world is changing. And so are we. We are researching, discovering, and innovating. We are learning, collaborating, and empowering. And we are doing it for the future of the planet, the future of the people, and the future of what's possible. We are inspiring a world of change.
it stands in the palm of our hands. It's our time.
Oh, take a seat to the greatest show you'll ever see. We've come so far, but the future is ours to decide what we need.
We've got to all come together.
Let's join our voice. It's now or never. We are the next generation to strive for a new day. This is our time. This is the moment we have to decide. It's time to stand up and vow
to be what the world needs now.
This is our time.
This is the moment we open our eyes.
If we can dance to believe, wake up to find this day.
This is our time.
يا هلا بالكل بحبكم نكمل.
نيتنا وهمتنا نجدد قصتنا ونكمل.
نتأمل والكون يلهمنا أن نعمل ونعيش اليوم الفكرة ونشوفها بكرة مستقبل.
ابدع لا تسأل عن أي حدود، قادر تتخيل بأفكارك جود.
هذا احنا جيل العالم موجود قدها وردود. This is our time. This is the moment we have to decide.
It's time to stand up and vow
To be what the world needs now.
هذا وقتنا. This is our time. بإبداع نعبر ونأثر ونغير أفكار كثير تجمعنا.
وتزيد قوتنا محبتنا إرادتنا. هذا وقتنا. ابدع لا تسأل عن أي حدود.
قادر تتخيل بأفكارك جود.
We are the next generation to strive for a new day. This is our time. This is the moment we have to decide. It's time to stand up and vow
to be what the world needs now. هذا وقتنا. This is our time. نبدأ نعبر ونأثر ونغير
أفكار كتير تجمعنا وتزيد قوتنا وحبتنا إرادتنا. This is our time.
Technology helps people reach goals with the help of physical mobility, virtual mobility, and most importantly, psychological mobility.
Mobility addresses the movement of goods, people, information, culture, and the importance of all these components for the progress of people in the future. The Mobility Pavilion, in terms of the building, is inspired by the theme itself. And in terms of design, it depicts movement, infinite movement, which reflects the human progress that has no limits. We explore who we are as human beings, who we were, and where we're going in terms of charting our future together.
These days, pretty much everything has this connection, this strong, complex relationship between the physical world and virtual mobility. You know, without the internet, where would we be? Well, our lives would be back to 100 years ago if we didn't have all that virtual stuff as part of our lives now.
The Mobility Pavilion is going to be a place of inspiration, and particularly for the young people, specifically from the region. This will be one of the first times ever that people will get to experience what our contributions to the world is in such scale. This is a place where we introduce the role of the Arab region in progressing the path of the future of humanity in a way that perhaps has not been done before.
This pavilion, this experience, is sort of halfway between a museum and a theme park. So it has elements of education, of information. It has elements of pure joy. And together that creates something that you've absolutely never seen before. It's cinematic, it's visual, but at the same time it makes you think a little bit.
The entire journey is an exciting one. There is in every part of this journey you get to learn and you get to be inspired and you get to see the way exhibitions are developed in ways that are very unique and inspiring. And particularly with regards to this journey, it has been designed with everybody in mind, so it speaks to all ages.
We want to give people an overall experience, something that will make you feel, something that will make you think, and something that will make you enjoy yourself.
When we received the brief for the project, it was always anticipated that it would be a permanent public building, which is one of the things that really attracted us to the project. So we wanted to demonstrate that you could do an entirely self-sufficient building that's not only self-sufficient for its energy, but self-sufficient for water. So it's net zero energy, net zero water. We actually designed the building first of all as a permanent building, a permanent institute. And then we did a kind of redesign for a temporary 6-month use for Expo. So the long-term vision has always been the kind of main design anchor. Well, I think we were very conscious of how we designed the building to make sure that it used the minimum energy to start off with. So that's why we've heavily insulated the building. We've used a lot of materials from the site. So all the walls are made from rocks that we found from the site, and the building's buried under soil and landscape that naturally insulates it.
There's a giant solar canopy on top of the pavilion with over 1,000 solar panels and 18 energy trees in the gardens that rotate to follow the path of the sun. We've also got technology that collects water from the air and a grey water recycling system that aims to reduce water use by up to 75%.
The canopy itself will be a signature piece and will be the kind of emblematic part of the building. The landscape uses plants that haven't really been used before in some cases. They're plants that we found in the desert, so they need very little water. And we're trying to demonstrate how you can create a really theatrical and lush landscape, but one that doesn't need a lot of irrigation.
The Sustainability Pavilion is being built to LEED Platinum standards, which is the highest possible accreditation standard for environmental performance. This will allow it, after Expo, to become net zero in its usage of both energy and water. And that is a fantastic example of how man can live in harmony with the environment around us.
It's been part of a journey, and then we've actually enriched the building through that process, and we've added pieces to it and elements that you'll discover. So it's been a really kind of, if you like, exciting process as an architect to design the building, but also to be kind of intricately involved with the construction and working in partnership with a number of different specialist companies to realize really our dream and see it come to fruition. And so, you know, from digging the first level below and the basement to going up higher and higher and building the canopy and then seeing, you know, all of the building now complete has been a really exciting kind of process.
His Highness's quote talks about the need to take initiative, to be bold, because boldness has majestic power. Mobility is really the starting point of human progress, which is why we've called the experience Alif, the first letter of the Arabic alphabet.
Mobility is fundamental to our communication globally. And without global communication, as the world comes closer and closer together, communication becomes vital, and hence mobility is central to that theme. The pavilion is designed to evoke mobility. It's a static building, but the design of the building will give the illusion that the building is moving. The highly polished, fender-like facade which runs around the building will be a generator of movement, so that the world around the building is reflected in the facade of the building. And it is that reflection which will make the building begin to move to the eye of the onlooker. The building is shaped with the facades sloping upwards, preventing the direct solar radiation hitting the facade of the building, and also overshadowing the ground below, creating an environment which is shaded, cooler, and out of direct sunlight throughout the day. This is a new era developing, where we're seeing buildings which are being designed for the first time to think about longevity and evolution. This is one of those buildings. When it transforms and evolves from its position in the Expo as a cultural building to whatever building it becomes, it is simply a case of addition. So we're adding to it. We're not demolishing, we're not taking away, we're adding. And that is a true legacy project.
The Sustainability Pavilion at Expo 2020 will take visitors on an emotional journey through their relationship with the planet around them. And through these experiences, they will uncover the beauty of the planet, the madness of some of our choices which are destroying it. The first stage of that journey is unveiling the beauty of the natural world around us. As our visitors walk beneath the forest or under the ocean, they'll see the beauty of creatures and how magnificent they are.
The pieces I enjoy the most is the experience of moving through the building. But once you come into the building, I think you'll be more aware of kind of the space below and the shade below, and looking down into the courtyard. And one of the nice parts by having the kind of sunken courtyard is that it adds a level of topography to the site.
In the next stage of the journey, the visitors will enter a darker world, where they will encounter some of the negative impacts of our choices and how they've harmed the environment around us.
So after you go through the exhibition, you come to a space at the very heart of the building that's at the very lowest point, so it's several stories below ground. And you come into a reservoir of water, and you can look down into this reservoir of water, and it's the water that we've captured in the building to be used by the building. And when you look into the reservoir, you'll see the sky reflected, because when you look up, you can look up straight through the funnel of the canopy and see the sky. So at one point, at the very heart of the building, you come to this connection of water and sky. And I think for me that will be quite a kind of magical moment and a magical experience for visitors at the pavilion.
But the true message of the Sustainability Pavilion is one of hope, in that if we as mankind make the right choices, we're able to navigate a more sustainable path towards a brighter future. And we aim to empower our visitors to make those choices in their day-to-day lives that together will make a huge difference.